Café Anyway. Welcome to Café Anyway.
It's Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 3168, 3168, and Mike Matthews here in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
The land of Ameritopica. Mike Matthews broadcasting from Café Anyway, a wonderful place where people come by and say, Mike, I'm glad your Café Anyway place is quiet, because there's places all over the place that I don't like it. It's a riot. The other places are loud, like Mark Zuckerberg.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
About a month ago, he was handing out gifting noise canceling
Daily
headphones
Podcast
and Krispy Kreme donuts to his Palo Alto neighbors.
This show is clean.
And it is episode 3168, 3168. I can't remember the last time I had a Krispy Kreme donut because, see, once upon a time, about 20 years ago, I'm working in radio. Krispy Kreme would come by all the time and just ply us radio people, us sitting on our tukuses, talking into microphones, radio people, with donuts. And then they would say, hey, can you mention us on the air? So we would talk, the Krispy Kreme donut truck just came by and dropped off a bunch of fresh donuts. And so many radio people died. Not from the donuts, but just from eating poorly in general, eating just tons of carbs and not moving around much. It's not the most athletic job. You're sitting, you're typing, you're doing that kind of like what I'm doing at the moment. Broadcasting from Café Anyway, somewhere in PodCastro Valley. But Mark Zuckerberg, he's onto something because he dropped some of those off, those donuts, to his Palo Alto neighbors because of the non-stop construction around his 11 homes. One of the radio stations that I work for in the Bay Area.
Here's today's podcast picture.
The transmitter is actually in Palo Alto, practically across the street from Facebook, near the Dumbarton Bridge. And the podcast picture is not of that, but another beautiful area along the bay known as San Lorenzo Creek. And I was there about a week ago. Beautiful area. And this time of year, it's pretty nice in the Bay Area because it gets really, there's a nice crisp coolness in the air. The late great Basil the Boxer used to love it. I used to walk him around this area. See a picture of it at mikesdailypodcast.com. Yeah. And, that fall cool, sort of that last bit of summer. You get these little shots of hot air every once in a while. But overall, it's cool and very clear. And now we're supposed to get some rain. But what was interesting in the area in Palo Alto where our transmitter is, about, when was this? 2 years ago, we were having a bad year in 2023. There was a lot of things happening. One of our transmitter sites got hit by copper thieves, and they ripped out all the copper and made the transmitter just completely dead, useless, because you need the copper to make all the electrical gadgets run. And you can tell I'm an engineer from the way I talk. You can tell by the way I'm going, man, no time at all. But they stole all that, so that rendered one transmitter useless. And then the transmitter we had in Palo Alto, there was a drunk driver, I think, that smashed right into one of the telephone poles or power poles near the transmitter, and it knocked the power out. And that was over there across the street from Facebook. So Mark Zuckerberg, I guess he hates a commute. He lives very close to Facebook in the Palo Alto, well, Meta, as his company is called, which has Instagram, which has more people on it than ever. It's got something like 1/3 of the Earth's population is on Instagram. Or what did somebody call it? Insta-scam, as I heard one person call it. But I'm on there too, at Mike's Daily Podcast. So he wanted to tell his Palo Alto friends, hey, sorry for all the noise. He's got 11 homes in Palo Alto. So that's a lot of Krispy Kreme donuts to help out, because that's a lot of neighbors.
Mike is on it, man.
Man go where no man has gone before.
We love it, Mike.
Thank you. And a lot of noise-canceling headphones. He has spent more than $110 million purchasing at least 11 homes to create a compound with guest homes and lush gardens and a pickleball court. What is he, the King Louis of France? A pickleball court and a pool with a hydro floor. All right. You've talked me into it. I got to look up what a hydro floor is. And hey, soon I might actually have this mic stand taken out.
This is Mike's Podcast Picnic.
Because I might be getting one of those a mic, what do you call it? A boom mic that comes out like we have in the radio stations. I might be getting one of those. So we call it a flying buttress mic stand. Hydro floors, the hidden pool feature. But okay, according to Sunset Pools and Spas, it's an advanced movable pool floor.
Get through that. I got into it.
I'm trying to get through it. Pool floor system that allows a swimming pool's depth to be adjusted or even completely hidden at the push of a button. The floor is designed to rise and lower within the pool, giving homeowners full control over the pool's functionality. You can adjust the water's depth, convert the pool into a solid deck when not in use, so you can actually walk on water, like that really cool Cars video from the 80s. Uh-oh, it's magic. It's also enhanced safety by eliminating access to deep water when needed.
Man, sometimes you wear stretchy pants.
And you jump into the deep water. And it maximizes space in urban or small backyard environments. Fascinating. As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Broadcasting from Café Anyway, and now we're outside, where we have a hydro floor. We just had one installed. Thank you, Mark Zuckerberg. Dizzy? No. No, there's no hydro floor. I'm just dreaming, everybody. Anyway, Café Anyway. So, a different company, not Meta, but Alphabet owns YouTube. And YouTube's co-founders sold their platform, YouTube, to Google in 2006, so almost 20. It hasn't been 20 years yet. Fascinating. But they sold it for $1.65 billion. Hey, we got $1 billion. Woo! $1.5 billion.
Like they got an area where you can get specialty burgers. They got an area where you get chicken. They got an area where you can get all this food.
Does it have a hydro floor?
You've never seen anything like it in your life.
But does it have a hydro floor? That's all I care about. YouTube is worth now $550 billion. So bought for $1 billion, now $550 billion. If they had held on, the co-founders Chad Hurley and Steve Chen might each be worth over $100 billion. But that's fascinating to me. So I'm doing the video to this right now on twitch.tv. And didn't Amazon own a piece of Twitch at one time? But as far as I know, Alphabet is not in any way involved with Twitch. But I will not put the video of myself talking into a microphone.
People get stuck on stupid,
because people get stuck on stupid seeing me stuck on a microphone talking to people. I don't know why they would want to watch that. So I don't put it on YouTube. But I am on YouTube, the audio from the podcast, which is what I'm concerned about. Because it's like a radio show. And so the radio is on the YouTube, but since there is no video, it's just the podcast picture. The podcast picture is like the static picture that you see on YouTube, but it is at Mike's Daily Podcast on YouTube. It has been on YouTube for a long time, except for the time that I was taken off of YouTube, which I talked about in a recent podcast. And that was weird. And we find out now that there was all kinds of nefarious things going on behind the scenes as to why that was going on in 2022 which was not a good year for me in many ways, which I have described in a recent podcast. But now, another big thing.
You will travel into the incredible universe.
Mike, nobody cares about magazines. Nobody cares about newspapers. No, here's the incredible universe about that. The number of monthly Costco Connection magazine, well, number of subscribers. Let's just say the number of magazines that are mailed to members is a lot. In fact, it is making the nation's third largest magazine by print circulation. Yes, and I have sometimes quoted from Costco Connection. There are some fascinating articles that have to do with, here's how to make sure you eat more fiber. Here's how to make sure you know where you're going at night when you're completely lost. Things that are helpful. But yes, it is.
Okay, last question. Can you please tell me that I'm pretty?
Oh, sure. You're pretty. Everyone listening to my podcast is pretty. See, that's the thing. So why YouTube is now worth $550 billion is you've got all these pretty people on YouTube filming themselves because it's so easy to film yourself now. I'm doing it using my phone on Twitch TV, but I'm recording it actually using a computer and some somewhat sophisticated recording software, and then all my knowledge of doing radio and audio production over my almost 40 years in radio. That's going on. But anybody can just pick up a phone or a camera, or just mostly it's their phones, and film themselves and then immediately upload it to YouTube. And because they're pretty, their prettiness is magnified, and people that are, they're pretty, they start to follow them and go, I want to be pretty like that person. It's the same thing that got people to watch TV all these years, or got people to the movie theaters to see movies all those years, or got people to be interested in music in the 80s when MTV came along with all these music videos. And
MTV News, you hear it first.
And what's the substance there? So once upon a time, we were listening to songs and liking them because of the way the song sounded. And you got the rock stars and all that, the pop stars and all of that. And that's now YouTube's got a big chunk of that. Now they're running that whole thing and they're making the money from it. It's like as if YouTube is a pop star flying saucer that's just abducting all of our eyeballs and making the money off of it. I guess that's one way to look at it. But Costco Connection is the nation's third largest magazine by print circulation, just behind AARP magazine. That is for all you retired folk. Actually, once you turn 50, you can get a subscription to AARP. Wait a minute, I'm over 50. How come I don't get a... Maybe I'm not actually over 50. And I've been lied to by my driver's license. And then there's Parade magazine, because people they gotta read their parade. Or watch a parade. I don't know, one of the two. Is Family Circus, is that little cartoon, that one frame cartoon in Parade magazine? I think it is. Is the, what was her name? The advice lady. Is she in Parade magazine? Oh yeah, Parade is the one that's stuck in the newspapers. They shove it. Much. Yeah, on Sundays. If you buy like the whole... And that was a thing up until just recently. In fact, I remember back when I was married that we would buy... For some reason, my ex-wife wanted to buy the Sunday paper with all the ads in there and the TV guide. She'd want to buy that. She was into it. I don't know how that got indoctrinated into her. But I remember there would be the Parade magazine in that. And it would tell you whose birthdays it was, what famous celebrity's birthday it was. Or, oh, wow, we're catching up with Loretta Swit and finding out what she's up to. Oh, wait, Loretta Swit died. Was it last year? The year before? She was in MASH. Anyway, it was those kind of celebrities, Café Anyway. But each monthly issue translates to roughly 10,000 to 15,000 trees.
It's like a Walmart-sized convenience store and gas pumps.
It is.
Wow.
There's probably 150 gas pumps.
Whoa.
They're monstrous. They're monstrous.
Bigger than
You go
than
in.
Costco.
They're massive. They're world famous.
All at Café Anyway. All those gas pumps. So I hope you're gassing up and getting your wonderful Café Anyway shirt that has a beaver on the front. What? That sounds a lot like Buc-ee's, and we might get sued by Buc-ee's? Ooh, we should stop that then. Okay, we've just canceled our t-shirts. We've burned them all. They're gone. Sorry, you missed out. I know that's not environmentally friendly. Neither is turning 10,000 to 15,000 trees into pulp to make all these magazines. I thought magazines were going the way of the dodo. What? You don't know what a dodo is? You're listening to one. A single full-page ad in Costco's connection, in the Costco connection, will set you back $200,000. A one-page ad. And I doubt anyone actually will see it. We get the Costco connection here at my house. I'm a Costco member. I've often talked about Costco. I've read from the Costco connection on the podcast. I cannot tell you one single ad that I've ever seen in there. I flip through it really fast to find an interesting article, which I then grab, I rip out, and I put on the podcast. But then other than that, no. So Apple held an event.
Wow.
I know. Fascinating. They held an actual event, which they've been known to do. We go back to the days of their founder, Mr. Jobs, who got us, who basically, speaking of reading magazines and books, basically, he's the guy who helped us all stop doing that and read stuff on our screens, our little screens, our wee small little screens that we get in our little hands that we can't keep our eyes off. Well, Apple held an event on September 9th, earlier this month, to reveal the iPhone 17 lineup. 3 new designs of the phone over the next 3 years. The iPhone Air, which is thinner and lighter. The 2026 foldable phone, which will cost $2,000. And a 2027 phone that is curvy and wavy. Let's see. There is... What else do I got here from the fine folks at TechCrunch? I don't know if they're fine folks, but thank you for this article. The company... they're saying they may be announcing more new hardware soon with Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. Let's hear it from Mark Gurman.
Should the government be allowed to regulate which podcasts the cell phone companies and Wi-Fi providers are allowed to let you download?
No.
To make sure they serve the public interest?
No.
You think that sounds crazy?
No. Jimmy Kimmel brought that up in his return to television monologue, which was a fantastic monologue. I will tell you that he used every moment of that. He knew he had all the eyeballs, speaking of eyeballs, on him when he was coming back to TV. So he used every moment perfectly. And if you didn't watch the whole thing and you've just said, oh, Jimmy Kimmel, he's some kind of left-wing nut job, you didn't watch the whole thing. Because there was some stuff in there that was very definitely not left-wing nut job. So, that's what he said. Was an interesting point he was bringing up about how he was taken off of television, obviously, and then there are some stations that wouldn't bring him back, but then slowly but surely some of them have been coming back. So my whole thing is it's not up to Jimmy. It's up to the company that runs his show, that pays for the show. Of course, they're being paid by the advertisers that are paying money. I mean, all the advertisers could pull their advertising. And I
have a microphone.
Exactly.
And you don't.
So you will listen to every word I have to say.
So ABC has the microphone, technically, and they're letting Jimmy borrow it and then paying him a bunch of money. He's getting paid. Who's the guy that was fired off of Fox? Tucker Carlson. And but one of the main things was they just could not sell advertising around his show because of stuff he was saying. So in the end, it's all about freedom of speech, I guess, what it comes down to. And was Jimmy Kimmel being taken off the air, violating that freedom of speech? And that is what has upset a lot of people on the right as well. He shouldn't have been taken off, even if they completely disagreed with what he said, which he then apologized for any thoughts or anything that anybody who thought that he was saying he was glad that Charlie Kirk was killed. That was not what he was saying. And he said that people misheard him, but I guess that's up to your opinion about what you think about it all.
Magnification.
And what you think was being magnified on ABC. I watched it, didn't see it on TV. I just watched it on YouTube, back to the $550 billion company, YouTube, who said that they were censoring people 4 years ago. So there was that, or up until the current administration took over. But Apple said, so back to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman. I was listening to him on Bloomberg Radio describing some kind of Apple product and doing a great job. But at the end of every sentence, he said, right? So I found him on LinkedIn, and me being old man, curmudgeon, yelling at, get off my lawn, to the little kids on the lawn. I said to the young Mark Gurman, I said, hey, you said, just so you know, and I work in radio, and I try to catch on to people's crutches, including my own, which I know I have a bunch. But I said, Mark, you say right at the end of every sentence. And he said, ooh, all right, thanks for letting me know. He wrote me back. This might have been on X or LinkedIn, somewhere. Oh, it was on LinkedIn.
Take it out, take it out, take it
out. Okay, that means we need to wrap up the show. But what Mark Gurman said real quick is that a new iPad Pro, an updated Vision Pro, updated AirTags, a new Apple TV, a new HomePod Mini, and updated MacBooks are coming either later this year or the first half of next year. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in PodCastro Valley, the last place on earth in the land of Ameritopica. Look who's here. This is Madame Rootabega, and I don't know what an AirPod is. Oh, no, AirPods, I think, are the things you shove in your ear. They look like a little straw sticking out of your ear, which looks like your ear is trying to take a drink of something but can't quite reach because the straw is very small. Do you like Apple products? Yes. Do you like Microsoft products? Yes. Do you like the other products? No. What is the thing? The thing that runs on the other operating service that nobody uses except for the really smart people. That one. Lionel Trains. Something with an L. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the Birching Attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we think you were talking about Linux Day.
Yeah, Linux. Do you know that? So that's what it is. My lovely lady friend, actually, both of us have been, we're both divorcees, I'll just say. And her ex-husband was an engineer who knew all about Linux and could do that kind of thing. So I'm like the polar opposite of him, and that's probably why she loves me, right? You go to someone who's not like your ex. Or is that true? Have you noticed some people that when they leave their ex, their new beau, their new spouse looks like the ex? Is that, Isn't there a song by the Cars that has to do with that? No, that's My Best Friend's Girlfriend. There's somebody. Oh, The Killers. Somebody told me a girlfriend looks like a boyfriend I was dating in February of last year. Something. It's all continental. I'm incidental. I guess I'm messing up the lyrics and I have to end the show. What do you think about all that? Here's the number to call.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast, we go to the mainframe and hear from A-Frame to find out all things having to do with Mike's Daily Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Thanks again. Thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at Mike'sDailyPodcast.com.
Email Mike now at Mike'sDailyPodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!